If you're a facilities manager at a university, you know students rely on the cafeteria for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and the occasional late-night snack. So when a dishwasher breaks down and dirty plates pile up, the mess hall can turn messy in the blink of an eye. Enter Grainger. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast delivery, the product you need now is never far away. So you can turn that dishwasher back into a lean, clean washing machine. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Best late-night conservative talk show in America, Sackheads Radio. And listen, there are no people better on the air to give you the best in conservative talk than Sackhead Sean and Sackhead Clint. And we're working on the immigration papers for a certain other guy who happens to work here too. But for those who are tuning in around the world to the best in late-night conservative talk, Sackheads Radio. The best late-night conservative talk show in America. In America.
And in this web was a large, I'm pretty sure it was the biggest spider I've ever seen.
Mute buttons make all the difference in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sackheads Radio Show. It is the 29th of July, 2015. Thank you so much for joining me. So much to talk about this evening. Sackhead Clint is here somewhere, I think. Sackhead Clint was here a minute ago. Sacco should be here. Maybe it's me. That's the thing that I'm wondering most about. You know, everyone who's been listening the last few weeks realize I'm the only one in the studio when we get underway. I'm the only.
No, you're not.
I'm the only. Hey,
no, you're not. I'm right here.
How are you, buddy?
I'm good. I was sitting next to you the whole time. What? You're talking like I'm not even here. Are you so used to me not being here?
Yes.
In studio with you?
Yes.
That's not very nice.
Well, you know who else isn't very nice? Dan Butcher. And let me tell you why. That damn Dan Butcher does everything he can to throw me off my game. Everything humanly possible. He sends me articles that, he's supposed to be the second best newsman in the business, right? We've talked about this time and again.
Third.
Second.
Third.
He will always be the second.
Second. What'd I say, third?
Yeah.
No, I was second.
Well, you're drinking. But, so
I get those confused sometimes.
So he knows when we're in show prep mode. And you know I was being serious tonight, because remember when you were like, hey, you look like you lost weight, and I said, no, come on, let's be serious.
Right.
Right. So he sends me this article from the BBC called The Truth About Rabbits. And he launches it to me as a breaking story and very, very pertinent as to tonight's show, because he knows, the guy's been around news once or twice, so he knows he has an idea of what we're going to talk about, right?
Right.
So I get rabbits, and it's this whole long story about rabbits just breed and breed and breed, producing huge numbers of offspring. Hey, that's not true. Physically, they can, but it doesn't happen. And then goes into the breeding cycle of rabbits. Now, first of all, I want to know why the hell this is on the BBC. Second of all, how do you Google this to find it? And what was Dan Googling that breeding like rabbits came up? Those are the questions I want to know tonight. And if he's in the chat... Oh, he's in the chat room. Look at that.
You know what? I have a theory. Perhaps it's one of those stories that popped up when he searched for allaroundthebarnyard.net. I'm just speculating.
Safe search on, Dan. Safe search on. Remember that, buddy.
Maybe it was, which is why he got the rabbit story.
Oh, I didn't...
Right? And then he turned it off and went back to whatever it is he was researching.
Ah, that's a good point. And at which point he eventually just yelled,
"We ain't found shit!"
And I don't know... I don't know why he was so upset about that, but, I'm just saying. It's a little disturbing when the second best newsman in the business sends me articles like that for our show prep. And we have so much we want to talk about tonight.
We don't have anything. Look at the board. It's completely empty.
It's devoid of any thought.
There's nothing on the board
no,
at all.
Sacco.
Oh, that's right. I was looking at his chair. I'm
hey,
sorry.
You know, somebody brought up a good point earlier. They asked if Sacco was legal. And I told him he was, that when we got the papers from the breeder, everything was in order.
Right.
So he is legal, and he's also AKC certified.
No, he's not.
Oh, he's not?
No, we were trying to get him recognized as a breed.
Right.
But they turned us down.
Why?
I don't know. They said he looked like some kind of mix between Chupacabra, which would not meet their definition.
But they're starting to allow mixed breeds in.
They are, but he's not a mixed breed. That's the thing.
Oh.
He's Soctarian.
He's Soctarian. Sacco the Soctarian.
We have Caucasians and Soctarians. Or a Soctarian, as it were.
Hey, folks, go to shrmedia.com on the right side of the page. Click live chat if you want to get into the other conversation. Ken welcomes all the listeners to Free Sacco and the other SHR guys. You know, it's interesting to me how Sacco is getting such a following. And we saw this in Vegas, and I know we've talked about this before, but the guy does nothing around here. He literally has a T-shirt that says, "I bring nothing to the table."
And he doesn't, which is obvious by the fact that his table is empty right now.
He can't even get to work on time.
Right.
He's supposed to be producing this. And you know,
all he's producing is a hangover.
We need sound effects. We need a whole
and
bunch
stress.
of stuff. Right. A huge... And so I have to do stuff like this.
Thank God for them internets.
And meanwhile, he is, I don't know, probably having a wine spritzer somewhere, or maybe took a nice young lady out for a cup of water, or something, right?
Right. Right. And then couldn't hold a political conversation. Doing wonderful. How are you?
Oh, I'm just magical, thank you.
Good. So what do you got going on? I like every time you walk away to go to the soundboard to do something, and I ask you a question, and then you bring me headphones, because I was starting to get a complex. I sit down in my chair. I sit down in my chair to start doing my pre-show production, and I have no headphones. And I ask you, where are my headphones? And you look at me and you say, you don't need them. I said, what do you mean I don't need it? I can't hear any of the sound effects you play. You said, well, Sacco's not here. We're not going to be playing any sound effects or anything. And so thank you for bringing me some headphones.
Yeah, hey, no problem. That's what I'm here for.
Because I would have no idea what to do with these things otherwise.
I'm the sound tech, too, now.
You are.
Wait till he gets his...
You have to...
Business taxes. We're stressing about all the time and all the money you spent on your taxes.
This is my bill?
Now Business Taxes is a TurboTax small business expert who does your taxes for you and offers year-round advice at no additional cost, so you can keep more money in your business. Now this is taxes. Intuit TurboTax. Get an expert now on TurboTax.com/business. Only available with TurboTax Live Full Service.
What you're hearing is Hardie Fiber Cement Siding living up to its reputation as the siding that helps resist weather damage, no matter what Mother Nature throws its way. James Hardie knows how important a reputation is, especially when you're a home builder. That's why Hardie products withstand the elements better than wood-based siding, with styles to match their strength. Because when home builders work with us, we deliver our best so they can look their best. Protect your reputation with exterior products by James Hardie.
Be Soctarian to be sound technician. It almost sounds the same.
Hey, I want to issue an apology.
Why?
To the exceptional one, Ken McClinton.
Hang on a second. Now, you understand this is a direct violation of our bylaws.
Yes.
We do not issue official apologies.
I have to issue one.
So is this a personal apology then?
No.
Because we don't do official apologies. We have to vote and change the bylaws.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
So I want to issue an official apology to the exceptional one, Ken
Because
McClinton.
now we can do it.
We can do it now.
Right. We're not the Obama administration. We do things legal here. Wait, what?
Because of the joy that is Blog Talk Radio, and by joy I mean trash.
Right.
We were unable to carry his show this evening. Normally it's here every night on the SHR Media Network. Ivor Pacific. And then I'm really excited as well because Jeff Dunitz, who's doing Rogue Nation Radio for us on Wednesday afternoon, has a permanent co-host by the name of Miss Tamara Jackson. Tammy J is going to be joining him as his permanent co-host on the show. So
Okay, and now I'm up to speed because when you said tomorrow,
You had no
sometimes
idea.
I don't, because sometimes with that accent you're actually trying to say tomorrow. So I didn't know if this was a pitch for something happening tomorrow or you were actually. So I apologize. Go ahead. Look, I'm sure I'm not the only one that was confused by that.
No, I know you're not the only one who's ever confused by me. Trust me, I have a whole laundry list of people who have no idea what.
Yeah, so do I. And emails.
Yeah, but forget it. Hey, let's get to the big board of topics here on the 29th of July.
No, it's not time yet.
2015. It is.
It's not. We have 15 seconds. 25 seconds.
25 seconds.
Right. So, what do you think about those Patriots, Tom Brady?
What about it?
What do you think?
Well, I still think it's BS.
That he deflated the balls? I know.
No.
That was legit.
Well, everybody does it.
Right.
I think that's something.
But he got caught.
Well,
Everybody speeds.
Right, and that doesn't make it right, does it?
Right.
But if you're going to punish one, you should punish all the same.
But you got to catch them.
Those who are caught. Well,
what I want to know is why Ray Rice
when you're targeted,
why Ray Rice beats his girl, and there's video of him knocking her out in an elevator.
Right.
And he gets what, 2 games?
Right.
And then wait, there's video. Let's give him 4. Right.
Brady was the black guy in the car.
Right. Right.
No, I bought and paid for this Mercedes. Sure you did. Yeah,
you better issue another apology to Ken.
I want to issue this apology to Ken McClinton, the exceptional one. Earlier, when I was talking about Tom Brady, I didn't exactly mean it the way it came out. So I just want to apologize because, like most people know, Ken is in fact white. And
look what I got here. Hey, where are the white women at?
And that's Ken. That's Ken.
That's Ken in Vegas, I
Yes.
think.
And
That was
him. In
that
Vegas.
might have been Ken in Vegas.
You know what's funny is he was on the ground 30 seconds in Vegas with us, and that was the first words out of his mouth. And that's not an exaggeration.
That's not an exaggeration.
He walked directly up to me and said those exact words.
Yes.
Now can we get to the big board of topics?
And then you said, take a look around.
Yeah. It's all white women. We're at a conservative convention.
Ken needs to say that at like an NAACP rally.
Oh, Rachel Dolezal's here. Okay, we're good. Let's
We're
good. Now we're late on the big board of topics. We're late now because of Ken. Wait, that came out wrong. It's going to be one of those nights.
I bet you're a huge Mel Brooks fan.
I'm an enormous Mel Brooks fan. I think Mel Brooks, one of my favorite comedies of all time, is Blazing
Saddles.
Absolutely.
Right, it would be one of the most racist movies ever made. Good job. Anyways.
That's not true. History of the World is one of my other favorites.
That's true, yeah.
There's no racism in that.
No, Jews in space.
It didn't have Gregory Hines carrying a mighty joint.
Right. The jig is up and gone.
And gone.
Right.
Barb! They said you was hung! And they was right.
And they was right.
But what's going on with Mr. Brooks?
They're trying to ban some of his stuff. You brought this to my attention. What do you mean, what's going on with Mr. Brooks?
So I saw a report.
I don't know why.
That
there's quotes from his movies like, "What's next, faggot?" In History of the World.
That's right.
Remember? Dom DeLuise as Caesar. Did he say big fat pig? I believe he did, sire. Was he referring to me? I believe he was, sire.
One of the most just the classic comedic directors and writers of all times has made just amazing movies, and it's not just
Michael Moore.
I mean, you look.
That's not who you're talking about. Sorry.
Well, no, I did say big fat pig. So
no, I said big fat pig. He was quoting, and so I immediately meant them.
Oh,
yeah. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I was.
Yeah, no, you were off.
I apologize. But, I mean, let's go down the list of some of the great movies that he's made. The Producers, Silent Movie, High Anxiety, Young Frankenstein, History of the World, Spaceballs, Blazing Saddles.
Why was there never History of the World Part 2?
I think they did that on purpose because they announced it in the middle, at the end of History of the World Part 1, that Part 2 is coming. So I think that was his joke. And then some amazing skits like The 200-Year-Old Man. There's just a lot of amazing Mel Brooks. And there's this wingnut group out there, and I don't even remember who the hell they are anymore.
Nor does it matter.
It doesn't matter. But they want... Here it is. SJWs now want Mel Brooks Films banned. And I appreciate Dan Butcher because he finally got me something I can use in my show. Because he linked...
What are you talking about? Wait, in your show?
Yeah.
Oh, like the...
No, like this one.
Oh.
The SJWs want it banned. Specifically, in the film, the producers, with 2 Broadway producers, realized they can make more money with a play that bombed, so they came up with the most offensive play they can find, which was Springtime for Hitler, which was just... I was just sitting there thinking about what a great movie that was. And it was an absolutely great movie. But, you know, it really starts to get to the point with how far people get offended with something that is obvious satire.
Don't watch it.
First of all...
Don't watch it. We have a First Amendment. Why are any movies, man? It's like Disney pulling Song of the South.
Yes. Yes.
Right, with Little Black Sambo?
Because people are getting angry.
Right.
People are just so... We're mad about movies that happened 30 years ago, 35 years ago.
More than that.
I mean, look at what happened with the Dukes of Hazzard, right? Getting pulled off the air. It's sad to me how people go insane about stuff like this. Now, first of all, if you look at Mel Brooks and you've seen any of his interviews or anything about him, he is anything but a racist. He is... There's not a shred of evidence. Funny, yes. Able to put a pulse on society and kind of see what makes people laugh.
He's Jewish and makes fun of
Jews like crazy.
Absolutely. Fagel?
They darker than us. Oof.
You put your thing in here, and I nip the tip.
He would have a huge Schnitzelgruben. But he's able to take horrific events, really. I mean, especially...
And
stereotypes. And make people laugh. And we've said this a million times on this show. Laughter brings us together more than anything else does. Because when you've done it well.
Net neutrality.
Well, net neutrality. But I mean, I want a specific petition about us. You know how you can do the petitions at whitehouse.gov?
Right.
I want a petition to shut us down. I think that would be outstanding. I love the fact that words said in jest, like we say all the time on the show, we use comedy as part of our way to push through the politics of this country and the horrific things that go on. Somebody said in the chat room, White House is racist. Sorry, Matt. The House of the President.
The house which is currently painted the shade known as
White.
Blanco. We'll use the Spanish word for
Inclusiveness.
it.
Good
Inclusiveness.
job.
Thank you. Nailed it.
But that's... I want somebody... And you know what? I'm going to go through the chat room and say, Ken McClinton, I nominate you. I want you to go to whitehouse.gov and start a petition to shut us down. Just because I want to know how many people would listen and be like, oh, that's completely offensive, and shut us down. For A, speaking our mind, B, using obvious satire to get a lot of our points across.
on the barnyard search. I'm sorry, Dan. Those of you that know us know that we refer to Boehner as the boner, right? The biggest boner on the hill, right. I think, right?
And boner meaning mistake,
silly, faux pas, not faux pas. No, you kind of mixed kind of a golf, like Ebonics thing in there, right? Like, what are you shooting? 3 faux pas. Like, I don't know what you were doing there, if you were trying to appeal to Ken or what. I don't even know if Ken golfs, so Ken, I apologize. Not that you couldn't golf, Ken, because you're black.
Oh, why?
That's
because...
Right, no, that's what I'm saying. Why would you...
Tiger Woods?
Who?
Vijay Singh? I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Go
on. Gregory Hines, I don't know. Mark Meadows, who's a Republican in North Carolina, filed a resolution in order to get rid of John Boehner as Speaker of the House.
Hallelujah. Everybody all together. Hallelujah.
Right. But people are angry about this. So a lot of the Republican leadership, right? Because they're saying, hey, we need to be focused on the Iran thing. We have other things we need to focus on. We really don't have time for this. Boehner dismissed it as kind of like whatever. He doesn't really care. It's no big deal. But you know what? It kind of is a big deal. And one of the things that Meadows wrote in his resolution was, quote, the Speaker has, through inaction, caused the power of Congress to atrophy, thereby making Congress subservient to the executive and judicial branches, diminishing the voice of the American people.
All true.
I don't think that is something that's not a big deal. And the fact that verbiage is in there, I would like to see the Speaker stand up and say, you know what? The charges in there, or his words, are serious, because I do take the power of Congress very seriously, and we don't want it to be subservient to the executive and judicial. And this is something that I'm going to take seriously and have a meeting with the Republican caucus and see what we can do to come together. But he basically dismisses it. And there were 25 other GOP members that voted against him when it came time to reelect him as the House Speaker. And so it's not like it's like 2 or 3 people. There were 25, and who knows how many it's going to get this way. And granted, this is an uphill battle, but there is a clear lack of leadership in the House, and there are some people. Ted Yoho, which is just a fun name to say.
Yo-ho.
Is he part pirate? Like if he's drinking rum, is it yo-ho and a bottle of rum? Do they say that to him and give him like a little pirate hat? Because that'd be awesome.
His first day in.
If it's him and like his wife or kid, is it yo-ho and a bottle of rum? I don't know.
I don't know either.
But I think it's hilarious.
Imagine if that was a law office, yo-ho, and a bottle of rum.
Right.
Go on.
Yo-ho, and a pirate's life for me. I don't know.
How am I not a marketing genius?
I don't know. Oh, gosh. So anyways, this is going to be taking up some time before the August congressional research. And obviously, like I said, there's people that are upset. Do you think this is something Congress should be looking at? I mean, now yes. I think they kind of have to,
yes.
While the Iran thing is still kind of
yes.
out there.
Yes. Because one of my biggest fears with the Iran deal is that the GOP leadership will not follow through.
Okay.
They have a history, both in the Senate, and Ted Cruz went off on Mitch McConnell, essentially being the same person as Harry Reid and then being buddy-buddy this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen it in the House before, right? Boehner talks his big game, and then he comes out and he kowtows right to the president, the progressive left. Yes, I think this needs to be an issue. I would love to see Boehner ousted. I'd absolutely love to see it. But one of the things that it's showing, and you're starting to see this more and more, is even the establishment Republicans are starting to push back a little bit. And I'm not saying he's an establishment Republican. No, Boehner is.
Boehner is.
Right. But you're starting to see the upheaval. A lot of people who are either heeding the call.
We had Ted Cruz come out and talk about Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell and basically accuse him of lying
yes.
About the Export-Import Bank.
Yes. And his speech on that was amazing. And he released a great article, too. But if you you're starting to see either people are angry because they're getting called out for not doing what they were elected to do in 2014, which is to really curb the leftist agenda that was going on, or their own conscience is starting to get to them, and they're like, hey, you know what? Yeah, the reindeer games are over. This is getting worse, and it's only going to get worse. And, you know, Ted said it the best this weekend, Senator Cruz. He said Mitch McConnell and Harry Reid are the same person. Everything that McConnell's pushing through right now is all Reid's agenda, and he's pushing it through. And we've, like I said, I've highlighted certain times where Boehner has just turned around and kowtowed. So, you know, it's one of those things that I think the quieter elected officials are starting to speak up a little bit more, too. And one of the things that drives me crazy is, you know, there's this little bit of a hazing when people go to Congress. Hey, you're a first-year senator, you're a first-year representative. Sit down, shut up, and do your job. And you vote when we tell you to vote, and blah, 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 blah. And I think you're starting to see that get pushed back against, too. Hey, you're supposed to be ranking file. You're not supposed to be out here talking like this against... He's the Speaker of the House.
There's going to be retribution against him.
Oh, absolutely.
There's no doubt.
But you know what? I would rather, if I were that representative, I would rather accept the retribution and have that on record of, hey, you know what? I tried to stop him, and nobody would let me.
Right. Well, here's the thing. There's a block of Republicans that do sometimes go and go up against Boehner on certain things. Now, it's going to be interesting to see how many of them actually back this effort,
right?
And force a new vote. That's what I'm really curious about.
Well, Ag said, you know, Ag just put a great question in the chat room. He said, since January 2011, what substantive thing have the Republicans done to stop Obama and the leftist agenda, or punish any criminals from any of the illegal wrongdoing?
Nothing.
Nothing whatsoever. And because who's been our leadership, the Republican leadership? McConnell and Boehner. And for somehow, and you look at, what was it, the 23 that voted against Boehner on his last speakership? I think it was 23 out of what, 343?
I think it was 25, but yeah, right around there.
And they all, you know, they all got retribution for that.
Oh yeah, some of them were removed from committees. Remember we talked about it on the show when the story came out.
So, to say this needs to happen, absolutely it does. You're damn right it does. It needs to happen. It can't happen fast enough for me. I would love to see Boehner embarrassed to the point that he resigns and go away. By the way, vote J.D. Winteregg. He's running against Boehner again this time. Don't be fooled a second time. Don't be. Just don't be.
They're going to. Look, do you think that this is going to happen?
No.
I would like to see it happen, but I don't.
In my heart of hearts, the answer is no.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. Nobody has the stones to do it.
Nope. No stones whatsoever. And you know what, people, if you're listening at home, pick up your phone or email your congressman or congresswoman and honestly, light them up with emails and phone calls demanding, but let them know their constituents are pissed off.
Yep.
And they have every right to be pissed off because they are doing nothing to stop the administration. They are doing nothing to follow up on the crimes that have been committed. And the only person who does anything, and nobody gives him any support, which is Trey Gowdy.
Well, here's the other thing: is Mark Meadows may not call up this resolution, so he may not even compel the House to consider the plan.
Wasn't he on Saturday Night Live? Oh, that was Tim Meadows.
So he drew it up kind of to force a conversation, but who knows if he's even going to have the stones to make the House vote on this. I would make them vote on it.
I absolutely would make them vote on it, and don't let them sidestep it. Somebody second it almost immediately.
I'm sure somebody would. Or doesn't need to because he filed it. So
that's true.
I think he can just compel the.
He can just compel the vote. You're right. He absolutely can. I would like to see this go forward, and even if they're not successful, and let's say they're not successful to get rid of Boehner. At least it puts, if I'm a representative and I'm an elected official and I'm fighting against the establishment to actually get something done in this country, I want to be on record as the guy who voted against Boner to be the speaker and then to recall the speakership from him. I want to be that guy. So when I turn around and they say...
When I go back to my constituents and say, hey, listen,
2016,
I tried.
2018, when they turn around and they say, hey, you guys haven't done anything. Look at my record. Look at what I've tried to do. I didn't go there to vote for the winner. I went there to vote for the right thing. And I did that. And the problem isn't with me.
Right.
It's with the establishment. It's Reince Priebus and all those guys who... Reince. Who like to sit there and swallow the president's agenda whenever they get a chance. And they never spit it back at him.
Right. No, they just take the whole thing.
Right.
Right.
The whole agenda.
The whole agenda.
And they don't even try to turn away.
Nope, don't even try.
It's just sad and pathetic.
Open wide and just swallow the whole pill. What?
What?
I don't know.
What happened? What happened? I don't understand what happened.
I don't know either, but we're up against the break.
We are up against the break. When we come back, yeah.
Why is Obama holding their nose?
He just patted Boehner on the head. We'll be back in 3 here on the Sackheads Radio Show live on the SHR Media Network.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians.
You got a business. You didn't build that.
A team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cow for the stupid promo.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Bring any child who comes across the border.
Okay, so apparently Roger fell asleep in the middle of my brilliant political tirade, and now he plans to sue me.
On Financial News and Talk.
You know I'm right. Y'all know I'm right.
Hello, I'm Matt, a student at Hillsdale College. Here's Hillsdale President Larry Arnn on the continuing relevance of the Constitution.
Many argue today that the Constitution is outdated because it addresses problems peculiar to the 18th century. Some parts of the Constitution do read rather quaintly. Consider the injunction against titles of nobility in Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution. But is that so outdated? The purpose of the injunction is to prevent the government granting special privileges to some for partisan reasons. This strikes at the heart of the rule of law. The crony capitalism so common today is a place where the government bestows favors and tax dollars on some businesses to give them a leg up over others. This is exactly the kind of thing the Constitution was meant to prohibit. The Constitution is not so outdated after all.
This Constitution Minute was brought to you by Hillsdale College. To join the national conversation on the Constitution, go to constitutionminute.com.
And welcome back to the Sackheads Radio Show live on the SHR Media Network. Hey, folks, jump into chat if you're not already. I know it's late for some of you people on the East Coast, but stay up, huh? You're supposed to be East Coasters. You're supposed to be tough. So we went from a pack of do-nothing to essentially a pack of monsters. Earlier this week, we had the set of 3 videos released from the underground organization that was ousting Planned Parenthood. This is just... I don't even know. And, you know, before we get too far into this, you know, the big story all over social media right now and all over the news is Cecil the Lion. Because there was the dentist from Minnesota who, by the way, is now getting death threats and had to close his business and move and all this other stuff. And I'm not condoning the killing of the lion. I'm one of those people that I have no problem with hunting, but if you're gonna hunt it, you eat it type thing. That's my big belief on it.
Yeah, I don't hunt anything that I don't eat either.
Right.
But if you do and it's legal, I mean, that's your decision.
Right. It's a choice versus anything else. And really, okay, he killed a lion. It was a famous lion. Okay, it sucked. But it doesn't suck on the level that people are making out. It's more of I'm like, oh, bad on you, dude. Like,
it's more of an a-hole move than a you need to die move.
Right, exactly. I'm just, I'm one of those people.
So you baited the lion off out of the reserve so you can kill him. You're a douchebag.
Right, but you should.
Right, you're a complete douchebag.
Your life shouldn't be destroyed.
Right.
And more importantly, it shouldn't be getting more outrage than the damned Planned Parenthood story.
Right.
That's the part that sickens me. You have more people, oh, the poor lion, the poor lion.
It's just tissues. It's not real babies.
Right. Well, so is the lion. The lion's just tissues.
The lion's not even property.
No, it's not.
It's an animal.
Right.
And I'm sorry for all you animal lovers out there. Look, I don't agree with the shooting of the lion. That's not what I'm saying. But it's an animal.
Right.
It does not have the same rights and privileges as a human being.
It's adorable, but so aren't babies.
Right.
And yeah, but you know what? It's one lion versus the hundreds of thousands of babies that have died at the hands of Planned Parenthood.
Right.
And not just, and I've said this on my show, and I'll say it till I die. I understand abortion in certain cases, medical cases, rape, incest. There are times where I can understand why the person.
You can understand an argument for it.
Right. Absolutely. However, to be used as a Plan B, which Planned Parenthood currently is. Kids get pregnant and they're like, and you don't even need a parent's permission. You just
which is ridiculous.
Go to a Planned Parenthood, 14, 15 years old. They give you an abortion. They give you some medicine, tell you not to tell anybody, and go on their way. That's what Planned Parenthood has become. It's birth control after the fact.
I have to say something. I saw Bill O'Reilly tonight had Sarah Palin on his show, and Sarah Palin, love her, but she referenced the Confederate flag and Planned Parenthood killing black babies. And Bill O'Reilly asked her several times, well, hey, why do you say this specific to black babies? And, do you think they do that on purpose? And she kind of went into, well, they're in lower income neighborhoods, and
right.
with the battle flag of basically the Confederate flag, was racism. And she goes, I was just trying to bring it to light. What I was waiting for her to say, and I was disappointed she didn't, I was waiting for her to say, yes, I said black babies because Margaret Sanger, the founder of Planned Parenthood, was a complete racist who had a eugenics project in order to try and get rid of the African American race here in our country. And that's why I said black babies, and she would have been 100% correct.
Absolutely.
And she never said that.
Absolutely.
And I was very, very disappointed in her for that. But that's just kind of an aside. Go.
No, I agree. And listen,
I think it was a huge missed opportunity.
Everyone tries to say, oh, well, it's changed. And, it wasn't.
They give a Margaret Sanger award still.
Yes. Yes. It's like giving an Adolf Hitler award.
It almost is.
Right?
Yes.
It would almost be like if somebody gave the Adolf Hitler award to Jihadi John.
Right.
Congratulations. You've killed more Jews than anyone else this year.
Right.
Wait, what? They give out a damn Margaret Sanger award.
They do. And look, if you read Margaret Sanger's writings, she was a huge racist.
And believed that it had to be cleansed.
Yes.
And so you have these sheep that work there that, oh, well, what we do now is a lot different. Okay. We talk about racial profiling in this country all the time, right? It comes up all the time in this country. What's your percentage of African American babies that are aborted versus any other race? Oh, you don't want to have that conversation? Well, it's different. People are choosing. I could argue, and for those of you people who get into the whole, the police set them up, this is entrapment. I could argue that the teaching in the private in these inner city communities is entrapment to these young people to go have their babies aborted. More so, I would say that it's entrapment that you can have sex without protection and get pregnant with zero consequences other than being uncomfortable for a few days.
Mm-hmm.
And you could say, oh, that's crass, but it's really not. When we start boiling down what outrages us in this country, race is always a big issue.
Right.
But why is it that when it comes to Planned Parenthood, violence in Chicago, black-on-black crime, any of that stuff, it's not an issue? Oh, well, it's a problem, but we're dealing with it. No, it's an issue. I go back to Kermit Gosnell in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
They are targeting these inner-city communities. They are a pseudo-federal government agency. A majority of their finance comes from the federal government. The taxpayers, I think it says every year you pay $15 to Planned Parenthood out of what your taxes make for the government. It is a government abortion clinic protected by the Supreme Court. And this has nothing to do... Now, listen, if they were in the whole prevention game in stopping to spread diseases and that was it, yeah, we're trying to work to teach kids to...
We're working about how to plan a family.
Right.
Properly.
As you get older, right?
Right.
And maybe young kids to stay abstinent or at least use protection. I'm not going to sit here and say I was an angel growing up, so I'm not going to be a hypocrite. But at least, hey, use protection, be careful, this is what happens. If they were truly just educating, and not educating like the video I saw where the guy referred the 15-year-old girl to a sex toy shop in Planned Parenthood and he was one of the employees.
Right.
That's not education, that's stupidity.
Look, some of the things Margaret Sanger wrote is she said that there were certain groups of people that, quote, never should have been born. She wanted to create a race of thoroughbreds, more children from the fit, less from the unfit. She wanted the government to consider putting birth control chemicals in the food and water supply in certain areas of the nation. And she wanted a law that would disallow women from having children without first obtaining a permit from the government. A permit that would be
China
good for only one baby, if approved.
Well, I have friends that always joke that we should put birth control in the water. We should put birth control in the water and have to get a pill to offset it in order to have children.
That was one of the things she said.
Exactly.
If approved, the couple would receive an antidote to counter the effects of the involuntarily ingested birth control chemicals.
Right. It's absolutely frightening. And listen, one of the things that they do in California and other states now with pedophiles is they chemically castrate.
Right.
And that's a lot different.
Look, well, you talk about... you talk about, well, why are these clinics in low-income portions of the population? Well, listen to what Margaret Sanger wrote in a letter she wrote to a friend or to a woman named Catherine McCormick in 1950. She said, there should be national sterilization for certain dysgenic types of our population who are being encouraged to breed and would die without the government not feeding them. Who does that sound like to you? What areas? Is that a higher income area or a lower income area?
Side?
No, that's a lower income area, which
it's
is weird, which is where a lot of these clinics are found.
Located, right? That's kind of strange.
Yeah.
And you would think that they would be found everywhere equally, right? Almost like the Social Security office. Because the federal government tries to place them within community. Oh, that's weird. So now we have these horrific videos that come out from Planned Parenthood. And the first two videos are administrators / medical personnel talking about essentially parting out cars. Only cars, instead of cars, it's babies. Mm-hmm. And they're literally talking about selling what they refer to as a clump of cells when it's time to have their argument. But fetuses that are 22 weeks old for tissues and parts to these, what was in the video, undercover, but biotech companies. And I have two serious problems with this, obviously. One, the fact that it even friggin' happens.
Right.
Because now you're literally encouraging people to get abortions so you could take those aborted babies and sell them. If that was any other federal agency, people would go insane.
Right.
It's almost like a Ponzi scheme.
Well, I like the left's answer too when you ask them about Margaret Sanger and she wasn't she a racist? Well, they said, well, she shouldn't be judged by today's standards.
No.
Well, wait a second.
The Confederate flag is.
Right. Our founders are.
Our founders are. Let's see. All the Confederate soldiers whose graves have been desecrated are.
Right.
I am. Anytime somebody even looks at me the wrong way and they're like, oh, you white racist.
Right.
Well, no, you have to be because your ancestors were. Actually, mine weren't even here when that happened.
Right.
No,
Right. And the British started all of this. I just want to remind everybody of that.
I was Irish Welsh. My people were actually taking slaves as well.
Right.
Let's not have this discussion.
Right. The British brought the slaves here first. That's all I'm saying.
Right. So, and the Muslims had people in slavery well before that. So,
you can't say that.
You can't say Muslim.
You can't say Muslims enslaved anybody.
You can't say Muslims on a plane. What?
Wait, what?
Bomb, bomb, bomb.
And then when a group goes to come public with this, there's a judge in Los Angeles.
Yes.
That ruled that they cannot release any additional videos until there's a hearing. What, August 19th?
Yeah, August 19th. The Senate's having a hearing on the funding for Planned Parenthood.
No. This is for the Los Angeles County judge that ruled that no more videos could be released. Nothing can be released from this group. No other videos can be released until there's a hearing, which I think is on August 19th. So they put this judge put this.
But what's the hearing
order
for?
In place?
I don't understand what the hearing is for.
Stuff.
Well, is somebody charged with a crime?
Stuff.
Are they saying that it's the illegal way that they obtained these videos?
No. No. The Los Angeles Superior Court prohibits the Center for Medical Progress from releasing any video of the STEM Express officials that were taken in May. So the group brought legal action in Los Angeles. I don't know why, because I think STEM Express is in Placerville, California. Center for Medical Progress, that's the group that released the 3 videos so far. And this judge says, nope, can't release any more until there's a hearing. Scheduled for August 19th.
And what was this judge's name? Do we have that?
Douchebag. Hang on, let me see if I can find it.
No, I just want to see who this judge is. And it's not, I've read 3 stories, and believe it or not, the judge's name
I cannot find the judge's name.
Is not in it. If anyone has the judge's name, shoot it to me. I'd love to have it.
Or email it, because I don't want people to take that out of context.
Josie Joe brings up a great point in the chat room. So whistleblowers who usually are protected,
right,
are getting treated like criminals. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
That's exactly what's going on.
And their First Amendment rights are being violated.
Unless you find a reason that there's imminent threat to life or something else to shut these videos down.
Right.
There's no reason for it whatsoever. And even then, I could still argue that it's a violation of the First Amendment.
Yeah.
So I want to know where the phone call came to. You know what? I want somebody to file a motion right now to get the judge's emails and phone calls to see if there was a phone call made.
It's interesting you say that, because there was a group that tried to get Freedom of Information Act records fast-tracked under the breaking news thing for the whole was it for the Planned Parenthood?
Right.
And they were no. It doesn't qualify.
It doesn't meet the test.
Right. Wait a second. Aren't you the most transparent administration in history?
We meant multicultural. That's what we meant by transparent.
So
we didn't really mean transparent.
The group that tried to get it was the Federalists, a media group, and they tried to get from the Obama administration, tried to get information about her fees and other contract details for this fetus trade under expedited processing, and the agency said nope. It doesn't meet the public's urgent right to know, and it doesn't meet the standard of breaking news story of general public interest, which is weird, because I think that it actually is a breaking news story of public interest, particularly since there's going to be some hearings on this.
And it's federally funded, which is kind of a big deal.
Right.
Anything taxpayers' money on this level, and obviously this has to do with dead babies being sold like car parts.
Right.
I want that to be I understand. But anytime a federal agency or a federally funded group there's some sort of major revelation about wrongdoings, and by the way, there's a couple statutes that could be violation not only of the state code, but there's also federal code about transporting fetuses across state lines and all this other stuff. So there's a reason for this. I'm reading. I'm trying to do a little research as we go. They sought the. Well, I'm trying to find the judge's name because it wasn't in the original 5 articles that I read. I have one from LifeSite though that says that the grounds for the reason that the restraining order was put into effect was because the CMP in Daladin, the person videoing, violated California's anti-wiretapping law under 632 of the Penal Code. Okay, but when you have a whistleblower status, doesn't that automatically protect you from that?
I don't think so. Not from the wiretap laws.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. It's still...
Not from wiretap laws. Because if somebody thinks they're having a private conversation...
But if they're still charging, if they're still being charged...
No, you can't violate the...
No. What I'm saying is, though, is...
The law.
The law. If they're going to bring charges, then bring charges or don't. But don't issue a restraining order in case of, right? Because if you feel that there's enough probable cause, the DA can go and have a warrant issued and have them arrested and bring charges immediately, and then that changes it. But that hasn't happened yet.
Right.
According to this thing. So that changes a lot of it, too. So I want to know...
At this point, the judge should say, in my opinion, hey, nobody's been charged.
There's nothing I can do.
There's nothing I can do. It's a First Amendment issue. They're releasing it. If time comes when they're charged with a crime and they committed a crime, potentially, then we'll stop it pending that action. But until then...
Yeah, a spokesman for CMP went on to say the ruling is very narrow, concerning only one specific meeting, and it is temporary and contingent pending further litigation. The judge actually threw out completely the part of STEM Express's case where they were asking to suppress the documents of their baby part sales. So
at least the judge right said no.
But I still think that this is just an egregious violation of the First Amendment. I really do. The fact that they're, like you said, if there's charges, great. Because now they could seize as evidence. There's a whole bunch of things that you could do. And a good question in the chat room, I'm not 100% sure on this, especially in California, but do wiretapping laws apply to, quote, legitimate journalists? And I'm sure the answer is probably yes. But you would have to say that these guys amount to legitimate journalists, blah, 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 blah. The simple fact...
What's a legitimate journalist?
Right. Now everyone can be a journalist, and I'm not against that. Don't get me wrong.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Right. I think everybody who wants...
Because there are people that would look at us and say they're not legitimate journalists. Right?
I've written articles. I've been published.
So have I.
Right. But...
we have a show.
I would say that I'm not a legitimate journalist.
That's my point. There are some people out there that would say that we're not legitimate journalists.
I think we're screwballs with microphones.
But are we? Are we really, Sean?
You have no pants on. How dare you ask me that?
And that's my point.
So we go through all of this, and we get through the restraining order, and the LA judge that issues it. And what scares me is what...
Spiders.
No, they don't bother me.
Oh, that bothers me.
They scare
but
you
snakes.
Like a little girl. Snakes don't really bother me either.
That's not true. Anaconda. You were drunk. Ken was there. Never mind. Anyways,
you got right. I remember.
Right. No, you don't. Not really. Not until you saw the pictures.
I kind of remembered. But it brings me to the point is, what's in that video that they are so afraid of?
I think we've seen some of it, but there's more, right? And I think the maybe there are more damning ones, or maybe just the preponderance of the amount of damning videos that are out there. Look, either way, I hope Congress gets their hands on them. Look, the Senate is going to be voting to try and defund Planned Parenthood,
right?
And I think they need 60 votes. Harry Reid, that awesome human being, said, good luck. We're dealing with the health of American women, and they're dealing with some right-wing crazy.
We're dealing with the health of American women.
And they're dealing with some right-wing crazy.
Right.
That's what... That guy's such a DB.
Hey, way to weigh the evidence and legislate responsibly.
So there's 54 Republicans in the Senate. Most of them are opposed to abortion. There are a few anti-abortion Democrats. But that one of them, Bob Casey out of Pennsylvania, said that he would not support an effort to defund Planned Parenthood because they provide all kinds of primary health care for women.
So that gives them a pass. And here's the problem, and I said this too. If they want to completely defund Planned Parenthood, but I also look at it like Sesame Street, right? Planned Parenthood can make money on its own without selling baby parts. But they can make money. They have a ton of private donors. Many have started to pull out all of a sudden. But
never mind. What?
Stop.
Look, I didn't say if everybody did that, there would be no more Planned Parenthood.
Exactly.
Because I was talking about donors.
Right.
What were you thinking I was referring to?
I don't know.
I was talking about the donors.
But, even if they turn around and say, hey, you know what, we're going to pause federal funding until we go through and completely understand what the federal government is actually funding and do an investigation, I would be okay with that. And then if Planned Parenthood comes back without the abortion aspect of it to actually do what it should be doing in its mission statement.
Eugenics?
No, the one it has now.
Oh,
not the original one, because that didn't look good on the front of the building.
Got it.
But if they're for women's health and all that other stuff, okay, I can have that conversation, right? At that point, I can have the conversation. I don't have to like it, but I can have the conversation of, okay, they're providing low health care, which we have Obamacare now, so why should anyone even need Planned Parenthood? That's not important.
Don't they have, like, health clinics, too? Like, I know...
Well, and that's what I mean. If they turn Planned Parenthood into a legitimate health clinic and diverted the funding that way, for inner city youth to actually get legit treatment, help, and education, and
education,
and not abortions. And if they were permitting them under the law over the age of 18 with the signature, all that, okay, I can even, because it's legal. I don't have to like it, but it's legal, right, and not this fly by night under the cover of darkness abortions that are going on right now. I don't have to like it, but I can have the conversation.
Yeah, when somebody's 14-year-old daughter could go into and have an abortion without their parents know, what happens if there's major complications? Because that's a procedure.
It's it's surgery,
and the parents have no idea what happened.
And I think it's amazing that...
And the daughter doesn't want to tell them what happened, and so now they're stuck. I mean, what?
And you look at California, I'll use California as the example, one of the highest concentration of Planned Parenthoods in the country in the state of California, as far as per capita, right? In a lot of inner cities, there's Planned Parenthoods everywhere. Oakland, San Francisco, Sacramento, L.A., etc. But this is the same state that will not put to death convicted murderers and rapists.
Yeah.
Because it's cruel.
Right.
And there's the same state that...
Even though the voters
want it,
keep saying, do it.
This is the state that literally in the Department of Corrections are starting to issue condoms to prisoners to stop the spread of diseases versus stopping them from actually committing the act.
Right.
It's the anti-rape bill.
We know that you're going to sodomize unlawfully your cellmate, so here, just wear this first. Please.
Exactly. All these
if you're gonna completely sodomize and just ruin somebody, your cellmate, by taking advantage of them and forcibly raping them or sodomizing them, at least put this on first to protect
Meanwhile,
them.
you talk to any prison guard, and the reality is most of the disease that gets spread is through needles and illegal tattoos. That's where the majority of the diseases in prisons get spread, not through the rape thing. So you have a state like California who's all, you have to save Planned Parenthood and we're going to protest and blah, 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 and how dare you, Roe versus Wade, boo. You go to prisoners, we won't even kill the ones who murder. Charlie Manson's still alive, folks.
Right.
Manson's still alive, Planned Parenthood's still alive.
And what happens
about that?
Do you remember when California had a Supreme Court judge, Rose Byrd, who was so far out there, commuted death sentences, including the Newhall incident where 4 California Highway Patrol officers were murdered. That guy commuted the death sentence, everything else. She was the only judge in state history, I think, to be recalled in an election. She was kicked out of office.
You have to be a lunatic,
right,
to be kicked out as a judge,
right?
In California,
yes, and this was Rose Bird.
Yes, you are too liberal of a judge in California. We, the city of Sacramento, are moving to dismiss you.
No, that was state.
I'm sorry,
the state of California
I meant to say San Francisco as a joke, but.
Yeah, this was during the election cycle when they have to get you vote to affirm. There were people who were like, oh, hell no.
Yeah, no, she's out. But
she's crazy even by our standards.
The hypocrisy in that, to me, is the most unbelievable thing.
Do you think the term hippie came from hypocrisy?
It has to. Absolutely has to, because it just fits so well. And, you know, when you talk about these lives, I know we're up against...
10 seconds.
We're up against... when you talk about these lives... who are lost through abortion.
You know what I want to see in front of a Planned Parenthood clinic? Black Lives Matter.
Yes. I would love to see that in front of Planned Parenthood.
Right? But Black Lives Matter. I will support you if you go out in front of a Planned Parenthood and you start protesting that Black Lives Matter. I will stand with you on that one. I think all lives matter. All lives matter. But if you're really concerned about Black Lives mattering...
Yeah, absolutely. Go there and protest. You know... When it comes to these lives that are lost through these abortions in lieu of birth control, and I know we're up against a break, but...
Then why are you still going?
Because I'm going to get my point across real quick.
Again?
There is people all over this country that spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to go overseas and adopt children.
Yes.
And these children would be adopted here if the system wasn't so damn screwed up.
Mm-hmm.
And if there was actually a legitimate way, an easier way for people to adopt.
And I know that's a subject that's very, very near and dear to your heart personally, because you're very, very active in that area.
Absolutely.
And you're right. Look, there are plenty of people that want to be parents, good parents,
that
here
just can't.
That just can't. And you know, there are other choices that can be made. Also,
yeah, absolutely.
In terms of that, so
yeah, and you know what? There are people that, I could go on forever, but I know we're against.
When we come back, Criminal Aliens.
Dun dun dun.
Sounds like a sci-fi comic book. If it weren't so sad.
Now it's time for an episode of Criminal Aliens in the Boner.
Sounds like a bad porn parody.
We'll be back on Sackheads Radio Show live on the SHR Media Network.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians.
You got a business. You didn't build that.
A team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying coffee is stupid, bro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
This is Tammy Jackson, inviting you to join me on The Tammy Jackson Show every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Pacific on the 405radio.com. Put down that remote and tune into the show that covers politics, guns and the Second Amendment, religious liberties, sanctity of life, the military, and more. I host newsworthy guests and work hard to be a conservative radio show that's not like all the others. So save Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific from me, Tammy Jackson, on the 405media.com.
Who listens to The Andrea Kaye Show? Let's find out as we eavesdrop on listener Roger Johnson in Encinitas.
You know, if our policy is going to be bring any child who comes across the border, we have to take them in.
Okay, so apparently Roger fell asleep in the middle of my brilliant political tirade, and now he plans to sue me because I put him on the air, sleeping. Obviously, he's a liberal.
Snoring, not an option while listening to The Andrea Kaye Show, Tuesday mornings at 11 on Financial News and Talk.
You know I'm right. Y'all know I'm right.
Hello, I'm Matt, a student at Hillsdale College. Here is Hillsdale President Larry Arnn on the continuing relevance of the Constitution.
Many argue today that the Constitution is outdated because it addresses problems peculiar to the 18th century. Some parts of the Constitution do read rather quaintly. Consider the injunction against titles of nobility in Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution. But is that so outdated? The purpose of the injunction is to prevent the government granting special privileges to some for partisan reasons. This strikes at the heart of the rule of law. The crony capitalism so common today is a place where the government bestows favors and tax dollars on some businesses to give them a leg up over others. This is exactly the kind of thing the Constitution was meant to prohibit. The Constitution is not so outdated after all.
This Constitution Minute was brought to you by Hillsdale College. To join the national conversation on the Constitution, go to constitutionminute.com.
And
where is Sacco?
I don't know. You know what the best part is I texted him earlier today. He's like, hey, I'll just be a few minutes behind tonight. Okay, we're an hour into the damn show.
We're 1 hour and 4 minutes. We are on the downside. We have less than 1 hour left.
This is usually the part where we make fun of Sacco for like 10 minutes because we don't have any material.
Right, we have 55 minutes to kill and Sacco's not here. So let's talk about Sacco.
He's probably out with some broad.
No.
Oh, no, you're right, he's not. Or if he is...
They're ordering water. So anyways...
They're just dancing and ordering water.
They're ordering water. So sweet.
It doesn't stay in Vegas.
What? I thought I heard something.
No, I sneezed.
No, Gesundheit.
Matt Rivera, a good friend of mine who's in Facebook, says, make fun of me. I can't because, Matt, if you don't follow him on Facebook, he's a very, very smart, good conservative dude who also served our country bravely in the Middle East. And so I won't make fun of you that easily, Matt. It'll take me a while to actually, you got to do something good for me to make fun of. Dave, on the other hand, Agador, I'll make fun of in a second.
Right. Right. The Nutty Professor, I'm sorry, not the Nutty Professor, but
now I'm being called a racist because I won't make fun of the guy with the Hispanic last name.
Everybody knows you're a racist.
Let's see. We do have Jersey Joe in the chat room. We could make fun of him.
Why?
Because
he's from Jersey?
Yeah, I could go with that. But he's smart too. Egg's
if they're listening to us, they're smart.
Yeah, Egg's really smart.
Mary's just too big of a sweetheart.
Mary's awesome. I go through our
Let's make fun of Ken because he's black.
Yeah, let's talk about Ken for a few minutes.
See, I knew you'd go there. You racist pig. Ken, I apologize. I was doing an undercover operation with that to see if he'd bite, and I don't know why I'm surprised by his blatant bigotry. As a matter of fact, next event we do, it's going to be Sean, the blatant bigot, on his name tag. So I'm going to start that petition.
I actually, first of all...
that should put that in the petition to the White House to get us off the air. Sean is a blatant bigot. As a matter of fact, his own co-host nicknamed him that.
The blatant bigot.
The blatant bigot.
And now for 5 minutes with the blatant bigot.
Where are the white women at?
Hey, where are the white women at?
Yeah.
Actually, if you have a chance, you get a
That needs to be a new segment.
That does need to be
the blatant bigot.
I'll just play clips from Gran Torino.
Oh, you mean the script that you helped write? Before anybody else had the idea.
Yeah, most people don't realize.
They read Sean's writings.
Outside of the Korean War thing. That was all me.
Right. You just walked around with a hidden microphone. It was basically like R. Lee Ermey doing the during the During the training scene in Full Metal Jacket, but it was you as an advisor just walking around saying stuff, and they were like, "This is great. Hey, Clint, do that." Like, not me, Clint Eastwood.
You're out. He's in.
Yeah.
That was actually my voiceover too. I had a cold that whole week, so.
So they almost named that movie "The Blatant Bigot." Actually,
the Sean Lewis story.
I'm gonna write a book, Sean.
If you have a chance, Jersey Joe, who's back this week, his show podcast will be up tomorrow on Spreaker. Also, The Unpleasant Blind Guy released a conservative bite this week. It is absolutely awesome. You gotta check it out. If I can find it, I get to pull up Egg's newest commercial for his podcast because it is awesome. So I'll try to find that before we go. But we gotta get back to topics here on the Sackheads Radio Show.
I'm glad you said on the Sackheads Radio Show, like our people have no idea what they're listening to.
They don't.
What do you mean those people don't?
Those people.
I cannot apologize again for the blatant bigot strikes again. Apparently, I don't understand what his problem is today.
The blatant bigot. Somebody write that down now. That's gonna come back.
Oh my gosh! Hey, speaking of blatant bigots, criminal alien strikes again. In Ohio, a criminal alien is suspected of murdering a woman, wounding another, and then attempting to rape a 14-year-old girl.
He's a dreamer.
He dreams of something, right?
He's just a dreamer.
He's just a dreamer. This a-hole was released earlier this month by Ohio sheriff's deputies after the Obama administration, U.S. Customs and Border Protection agents, told him to let him go. No, we don't need to hold him.
Yeah, well,
just let him go. Juan Emmanuel Rezo. He's 35 years old. He was arrested Monday. Now, he did all of this, and then he gets involved with a gun battle with law enforcement. Again, endangering more lives. He later shot a woman in front of her children, murdered a 60-year-old woman in Concord Township. He's being held on $10 million bond. And now, U.S. authorities are trying to explain why he was allowed to stay here, even though they just questioned him 3 weeks ago.
Listen, this goes back to this time.
Look, we've talked in the last few weeks. We've talked about the San Francisco murder with a criminal alien. We talked about Massachusetts.
Yep, absolutely.
Right, with
Haverhill, with the 41-year-old nurse that was killed by the two Dominicans.
Right.
And there was also the Haitian that killed and stabbed and killed the guy down in Hartford. I think it was Hartford, Connecticut.
Look, it's ridiculous. And these stories are coming more and more. I'm glad they're getting more and more press. It's not like this is a recent trend.
No, this is
the sad thing is, but now it's getting more media attention, at least on certain outlets. Fox is one. We're another. SHR Media.
A lot of our shows on SHR are really pushing this.
Yeah, that's why I said SHR as a whole, and the shows under that umbrella. So this is a big deal, and look, it's bringing. I guess one of the positives, if there can be such a thing, one of the positives is that it is bringing this to the national forefront. Like, oh, you know what? Maybe Donald Trump was right.
Yeah. Whoa, hi.
Maybe. Whoa, hey. Did I just go into a time warp? That was bizarre. Look, we had the father of the San Francisco victim testified before Congress, and I think used the term criminal alien.
Right, he did use the term criminal alien in his
Now, we have to brag for a moment.
Yeah, and we talked about this. This is a hard thing to take a moment to brag about.
This is a hard thing to brag, but we have to do it.
Yeah.
So we had not heard the term criminal alien prior to us using the term about, was it 3 years ago?
3 years, yeah.
About?
Yep.
3 years ago in a show that we did where we announced that we would no longer refer to them as illegal immigrants. Mm-hmm. They were criminal aliens because they were conducting crimes just by being here.
Right, and them as people cannot be, it is not illegal to be alive, so therefore their existence cannot be criminal.
Right.
But their actions can be.
Correct.
So we coined that. And I've heard I've heard it.
I haven't heard it anywhere before that. So, but I'm pretty sure we coined that.
I agree. So, hats off to us for taking advantage of such a horrific situation.
Yeah, I think we were nominated for an SHR Media Award for that, which is pretty impressive. What?
Nothing. We have to do an Essies this year, don't we?
Yeah.
So we might as well.
We have to have, biggest contribution to African American conservatives,
right?
Which we have only one to choose from.
Well,
and it might be us because you are the blatant bigot, which brings to light a lot of issues. So Ken may not even win that one if you have your vote. I'm sure.
Didn't Sacco win it last year?
We haven't had him yet.
Oh, I thought we did him last year.
Maybe we did. I don't remember.
I thought Sacco won that one last year, and they filed. I thought Ken filed a
grievance,
an appeal. Yeah,
he filed a grievance.
And amazingly, I was the hearing officer on that.
And International Delight blends rich, creamy coffee with sweet, indulgent cocoa.
Free commercial for somebody
to create a delightful.
Go ahead.
Where is Sacco? For those of you that are rallying to free Sacco,
this is what's wrong with you.
What's wrong with you right here.
Yep.
Because Sacco clearly has remoted his way into our system
and is messing everything up.
And is messing everything up with our show right now.
This is what happens when you leave the moron in charge. Hey, Sean, you can do the sound stuff. Yeah, okay. I'm on it.
That was Sacco's call, by the way.
Sorry.
It's not funny.
Listen, this is a professional show, but occasionally something happens.
Let's get back to criminal aliens.
Okay, so Kate Steinle's dad delivered testimony last week regarding illegal immigrants, and I actually have a clip from that I want to play.
Daughter Kate. All children are special in their own way, and Kate was special in the way she connected with people. We called it the Kate effect. Kate was beautiful, kind, happy, caring, loving, deep in faith. Kate had a special soul, a kind and giving heart, the most contagious laugh, and a smile that would light up a room. Kate loved to travel, spend time with her friends, and most of all, spend time with her family. In fact, the day she was killed, we were walking arm in arm on Pier 14 in San Francisco, enjoying a wonderful day together. Suddenly, a shot rang out. Kate fell and looked at me and said, "Help me, Dad." Those are the last words I will ever hear from my daughter. The day Kate died, she changed her Facebook cover photo to a saying that said, "Whatever's good for your soul, do it." That was true. That truly describes Kate's spirit. After graduating from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, she went to work for a title company and saved her money so she could see the world. She traveled to Spain, Thailand, Amsterdam, Dubai, South Africa, just to mention a few. She even made her way to the slums of Dubai, India, to reach out to friends, mothers, and nanny. She spent time there with the woman's family and came back a changed person. Everywhere Kate went throughout the world, she shined the light of a good citizen of the United States of America. Unfortunately, due to disjointed laws and basic incompetence on many levels, the U.S. has suffered a self-inflicted wound in the murder of our daughter by the hand of a person that should have never been on the streets of this country. I say this because the alleged murderer is an undocumented immigrant who has been convicted of 7 felonies in the U.S. and already deported 5 times. Yet in March of this year, he was released from jail and allowed to stay here freely because of those legal loopholes. It's unbelievable to see so many innocent Americans that have been killed by undocumented immigrant felons in the recent years. In fact, we recently come across a statistic that says between 2010 and 2014, 121 criminal aliens who had an active deportation case at the time of release were subsequently charged with homicide-related offenses. Think about that. 121 times over the past 4 years, an illegal immigrant with prior criminal convictions that later went on to be charged with murder when they should have been deported. That is one every 12 days. Our family realized the complexity of immigration laws. However, we feel strongly that some legislation should be discussed, enacted, or changed to take these undocumented immigrant felons off our streets for good. We'd be proud to see Kate's name associated with some of this new legislation. We feel if Kate's law saves one daughter.
And he went on and said, one life, and the clip cut short. But listen, you see it with the Hurton family there. We've seen it before, and we'll see it again. 121 homicides have happened at the hands of illegals. At what point? And
where's Obama been on all this?
Nowhere.
He has said nothing. Nothing
at all whatsoever.
At all about this.
And the amazing part is we start talking about guns killing people. The rally cry happens to be, well, if we can save one life by passing this gun law, if we could save just one life by doing this.
You know what? Did you see this guy? This guy, Rezo, went on a crime spree. If there was somebody with a concealed weapon permit, he might have been stopped. You heard about the Cincinnati man? There was a 62-year-old man fired at 4 people, including a 1-year-old boy. And there was a civilian with a concealed carry permit that returned fire and wounded the shooter. Stopped him right in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Dead in his tracks.
Well, not dead. It wounded him.
Injured in his tracks.
Injured in his tracks. Stop the violence.
But it's funny what we will push and what we won't push. And by we, I mean the American people. Again, outrage about a friggin' lion.
Right.
Roar! This is horrible. He should die. Blah 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 blah.
He shouldn't die, and it was a douchebag move. It was. Right. It was. Look, I'm not supporting what that guy did.
When it comes to illegal immigrants
and murders and rapes of a 14-year-old girl,
they're just dreamers. Don't you get that? They're dreamers. They're just trying to come here and live a better life because their country sucks so bad, and they murder people left and right, and people die by the thousands, and they take dumps in the cilantro's field and then sell it to us. But when they come here, well, and Trey Gowdy said it best when he was talking about this. He said, we always hear about, we need to get these people to come out of the shadows. These people need to be able to document, to get on the books and out of the shadows, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
You think these criminals are going to come out of the shadows? And listen, some of which, as we see in the Steinle case, he was already on the books. He was on the Federal Bureau.
So was this guy. So was this Rezo guy.
7-time
U.S. Customs said, let him go.
Right. So even that does not matter. And then what happens? Well, you know what? Right now,
don't American lives matter?
Right, but American
lives matter.
Absolutely.
This is our new push.
But here's the thing. With these guys, before they murder somebody, we could be deporting them before they commit a murder.
Right.
Once we grant them citizenship, we can't.
Right.
We actually have the ability to get rid of some of these jackholes that don't deserve to be here. And you have Jeb Bush and other ones.
Look, I think they came here criminally. They came through here criminally. They violated our laws to get here. They don't deserve to be here. Come about it the right way. I welcome you into our country.
Exactly.
Follow our laws. I welcome you.
Absolutely.
Learn our history. Learn our traditions. Right?
Right.
I welcome you. Welcome to the United States of America. But not if you're going to violate our laws. The first thing you do by coming here illegally is violate our laws. That shows us a blatant disregard and disrespect. If you can't even respect our laws to the point to come here lawfully, how are you going to respect any of our other laws? Like rape of a 14-year-old girl or murder.
Or any of the above, or not shooting back at law enforcement. Or
right, and this Rezo guy hasn't been convicted of anything yet. He's the alleged suspect, but still.
Or any of that stuff.
Right.
Steinle's murderer admitted to it. And he was caught and arrested, admitted.
And this guy, look, apparently one of the detectives in Ohio said that this Rezo guy confessed also. But still, he hasn't been found guilty yet, so we'll say alleged. But he couldn't lawfully possess a weapon, and yet he had one. What do we need? Pass more laws?
First of all, it's pronounced lar. Second of all, the answer is yes. Yes, we will pass more laws.
We need a law saying that criminal aliens cannot possess
or murder. Well, that's already. And then the funniest part is people who are on the forefront of this and trying to actually give local authorities or fight to get local authorities the right to enforce federal immigration detainers. Amazingly, his office, Joe Arpaio, gets raided by marshals this past week.
Weird.
How many times have they gone after sheriff? And listen, whether you like him or not,
he's elected by that local population.
And they've gone after him, 4 or 5 times now, and they haven't been able to get him.
Look, they like him.
Right.
He's elected by the local people. He is doing
what they want.
What they want.
Yep.
So...
But they'll go after him in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
These illegals who kill and murder and rape and steal and deal drugs, it's just drugs. It's a
victimless crime.
It's a victimless crime. Right. How many people die in drug deals all the time? Or shootings? Or how many innocent people die when the bullet goes awry in drug deals? Well, it's an innocent crime. But they'll go after Joe Arpaio, the top law enforcement officer in Maricopa County, Arizona.
Who is doing what the people send him there to do.
Exactly.
Because
and within the
his electorate,
state laws.
His electorate love him. Mm-hmm. They keep electing him. But out of local politics, feds.
Yeah. Get the hell out. So, when we talk about illegal immigration, and then in the last segment we talk about Planned Parenthood, it's funny the people that we will defend in this country through the rule of law are not rule of law in some respect. It is funny what agendas get pushed like a damn lion, but it gets ignored like criminal aliens murdering people and Planned Parenthood.
Right.
The agenda is sickening, and I hate to say it, but it's a constant thread, right? It's mainstream media and the leftist agenda. At the end of the day, that's what this comes down to.
I read in an article this week that the guy Sanchez that allegedly committed the San Francisco murder. Mm-hmm. He said he was in San Francisco because he knew that the police there would not turn him over for deportation.
Really?
Yeah, I read that. It was in Fox News article on the Ohio shooting. And the name of the article, if I can pull it up here, is Illegal Immigrant Ordered Freed by Feds Now Suspected of Murder in Ohio, foxnews.com, by Edmund DeMarch, published on July 29th today. So in that article, he says that the suspected San Francisco killer came to San Francisco because he knew it was a sanctuary city in essence. He knew he wouldn't be turned over for deportation.
That's bizarre. I don't know...
It's kind of like what we say, right? Criminals know where they can go and where they can't go.
Yeah, well,
hey, way to bring them into your jurisdiction there, San Francisco. You really nailed that one.
Yeah.
I think those officials should be held responsible.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what? We talked about this before. There's also the federal funding aspect of all this, right? These sanctuary cities...
I have a law proposal.
Okay.
A law proposal. If you are a criminal alien and you commit a homicide while you are in our country illegally, it is a special circumstance and the death penalty should apply.
I agree.
Make it a special circumstance. Make it a capital case.
I agree.
And give no prosecutorial discretion for it. If you're a criminal alien, you commit a homicide in the United States, and I don't care if it's a California law or a federal law.
Capital.
It shall be a capital case. There is no discretion for the prosecutor to dismiss it or to bump it down. It shall be charged as first-degree murder with special circumstances. Special circumstance meaning you were here illegally.
Death by hanging. Mandatory death by hanging.
I don't care if it's death by... I don't care what the method is, but I think it should be a capital case.
Death by catapult.
Back over the border.
250 miles. I just built the world's biggest catapult.
Take like an Acme rocket.
Yeah.
Launch it at like a 20-degree trajectory over the border, no parachute, and then just let it fall back to Earth.
No, we'll just go to the Grand Canyon and we'll set up a giant catapult. We'll go Wile E. Coyote on this.
It's got to go over the border because they have to dispose of the body.
Hear me out on this. If you're a criminal alien, you commit a homicide, you were convicted, death penalty, we go to the Grand Canyon, giant catapult. We shoot you across. If you live, then you can die in prison.
Okay.
If you die, you don't die in prison.
Okay, I like this one better. We take you and shoot you back over the border to whatever country you came.
Ooh.
Which means you may be strapped to an ICBM.
Yes.
And we will destroy the warhead in flight after we eject you.
Where are you from? Paraguay.
Ooh.
Get on the missile. What?
Wait, hang on, what?
You're literally just going to tie me to the side of it?
It's going to be launched from a sub.
Yeah. Hold your breath. You get an air bubble when it's a...
Yeah, you'll get an air bubble until it pops the surface.
You picture the one guy who gets set up. He's like, I was born in Jersey. Get on the missile.
Wait, what?
Get on the missile. You're going back. Oh, Jersey's part of America. Nah.
Sorry, Jersey Joe. That was Sackhead Sean.
Again. Now, what's it called when you're prejudiced against low parts of the country?
You're just a blatant bigot, Sean. It doesn't matter.
There was a great thing online the other day talking about funny state mottos, and somebody put on North Dakota. We're not even the best Dakota.
California, we're communists too.
California keeping communism alive since 1972.
California, we have a red star on our flag for a reason.
Welcome to Massachusetts. Go screw yourself. Well, that's welcoming. It was actually approved by the Commerce Department.
We're up against the break, my friend.
Oh, hold on. One last idea on how they should be killed: death by piñata. The victim's family, if they choose to be involved, can be involved with beating with the stick until they pop.
Does that mean we have to shove candy up their canoodle valve?
Oh,
up their rectum first? And that's a question. I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just asking the question.
We got to work that out. I think we got to work that out, which we'll do with the Iran deal, not the ideal Rand.
The ideal Rand?
I don't know.
Paul.
What? Right here on the Sackheads Radio Show, live in the SHR Media Network.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying coffee.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
This is Tammy Jackson, inviting you to join me on the Tammy Jackson Show every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Pacific on the 405radio.com. Put down that remote and tune into the show that covers politics, guns and the Second Amendment, religious liberties, sanctity of life, the military, and more. I host newsworthy guests and work hard to be a conservative radio show that's not like all the others. So save Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific for me, Tammy Jackson, on the 405.
You know, if our policy is going to be bring any child who comes across the border, we have to take them in.
Okay, so apparently Roger fell asleep in the middle of my brilliant political tirade, and now he plans to sue me because I put him on the air, sleeping. Obviously, he's a liberal.
Snoring, not an option while listening to The Andrea Kaye Show, Tuesday mornings at 11 on Financial News and Talk.
You know I'm right. Y'all know I'm right.
Hello, I'm Matt, a student at Hillsdale College. Here is Hillsdale President Larry Arnn on the continuing relevance of the Constitution.
Many argue today that the Constitution is outdated because it addresses problems peculiar to the 18th century. Some parts of the Constitution do read rather quaintly. Consider the injunction against titles of nobility in Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution. But is that so outdated? The purpose of the injunction is to prevent the government granting special privileges to some for partisan reasons. This strikes at the heart of the rule of law. The crony capitalism so common today is a place where the government bestows favors and tax dollars on some businesses to give them a leg up over others. This is exactly the kind of thing the Constitution was meant to prohibit. The Constitution is not so outdated after all.
This Constitution Minute was brought to you by Hillsdale College. To join the national conversation on the Constitution, go to constitutionminute.com.
And welcome back to the Sackheads Radio Show live from the SHR Media Network, talking about the Jolly Rancher and some other great ideas we have about immigration here, folks.
We did have another idea.
We did have another idea.
Mandatory 3-year prison sentence for any crime committed by a criminal alien. If you're here illegally, mandatory 3 years.
Yeah. I think
aggressive panhandling, 3 years.
Yeah, California, aggressive panhandling is actually a crime, and we have a lot of illegals that do it.
Yep.
Now those two paths could cross. You know what? I submit to everybody, email your local representative and senator and propose capital punishment for any homicide committed by an illegal/criminal alien and mandatory 3-year sentence for any illegal act by a criminal alien.
Speeding.
Excuse me. Si, senor. I believe you were jaywalking. Oh, crap. That's going to be 3. 3 for flinching.
3 for flinching. Before we get to Iran, I do want to touch on one story just to make sure we have time to.
I can't believe we got... I was able to say si, senor, and you didn't even go at me with the blatant bigot.
No, you are. I didn't think it needed to be said. Everybody's going to judge that comment. There was a federal judge that is threatening to hold IRS Commissioner John Koskinen in contempt of court after the IRS yet again failed to produce newly recovered emails from Lois Lerner.
I'm going to fail to produce my taxes to the IRS this year and see what happens to me.
Yeah, good luck with that.
I'm just going to see how that goes.
I have to give a lot of props to Judge Emmett Sullivan, who is the U.S. District Court judge.
Is that the Emmett we know?
No.
Oh, okay.
On July 1st, he ordered the IRS to turn over Lois Lerner emails on a weekly basis. Judicial Watch filed the lawsuit. They've yet to do that, and Judge Sullivan was not very happy. He threatened to hold officials, including Koskinen, in contempt for not producing the documents that he ordered released every Monday.
Every Monday,
he said, quote, if there is further noncompliance, I will haul into court the Commissioner of the Internal Revenue Service to show cause why that person should not be personally held in contempt of court. Ooh. I can't make that any clearer. He then went on to tell the Justice Department attorney that he also could be held in contempt. Which I thought is great.
Wow.
Yeah. The judge said, I think the government's position is clearly indefensible. It's ridiculous. It's absurd. And then he said to the attorney, Klimas, however you pronounce it, he says, you're in a very difficult position.
Samsonite.
He said, but you're walking out of court with your colleagues. And then the judge said, that might not always be the case.
Wow. You know what? I applaud this judge.
Absolutely.
In a major way. And listen, he could be the guy that actually gets something done in all of this.
We'll see.
Wow. If only, you know what, this is 2 federal court judges in the last 2 weeks that we did the show that we gave major props to. It's good to see there's some out there.
Yeah.
And there's some out there that are actually doing it the way that it should be done.
I like the fact that I want to see if he'll actually do it. If he will haul Koskinen in on contempt and then hold the DOJ attorney in contempt.
Dude, how awesome would that be? Can the DOJ attorney then choose to not prosecute himself?
Ooh. They've done that before. But if a judge orders it, I don't think there's discretion there. The judge just says, hey, yeah, you're in contempt. I love it. You walk out here every day with your colleagues. That might not always be the case, okay? That's what the judge told him.
Hey, you know what? We need more judges like that. And I always think, I knew a couple. I was fortunate enough to know a few judges growing up, and a lot of them were very old school and very direct. But we talk about the criminal justice system now and how much pussyfooting there is and all this other stuff that goes on, and everyone's afraid to be harsh and actually say it how it is. And this guy did. Listen, it's not like this is a minimal, tiny case that's not a big deal. This is a major deal. We're still talking about Lois Lerner. We're still talking about the IRS targeting Tea Parties or conservative groups. It's the IRS using their position to attack people for political gain. It is a major violation, should it be proved. And it's something that cannot go away. So my pants are hats off to this judge for doing this, and he really needs to keep going on it. I really hope he does.
I agree. Now, Iran.
I ran so far away.
No, that's a song. It's something totally different. We're talking about the country.
So, as we've learned, there may be a couple of side pages that weren't exactly given to Congress with the entirety of the Iran deal. And earlier this week...
Did you read the deal? Or what? No.
Well, we did, just not the two important pages.
Right.
And I've said this. I had this conversation today about the Iran deal. And it was Liberal Jake, as a matter of fact. Liberal Jake said, well, what if we were kind of being pressured into the deal? And I said, nobody involved in this deal likes it, except for us. Well, you had all the other people, and we had to try to get somewhere. And I said, why? Why do we have to cut this deal? What do we lose by not cutting this deal? I said, it's a horrible deal.
To hear the left, we go to war and everybody dies.
Well, that could happen if we cut the deal. So that doesn't stop anything.
Right.
You have the Ayatollah literally putting out a picture essentially saying death to America and Israel with a silhouette of what appears to be President Obama with a gun to his head. This is the leader of Iran, the people we just cut this deal with, quote, unquote. France does not like this idea. Other countries involved, the Germans aren't exactly...
France!
Yes, the damn French. The damn French don't like this.
Of all people, they asked for the Statue of Liberty back. That's an unconfirmed report.
By the way,
we're trying to shore it up a little bit.
I saw the greatest video the other day titled French Self-Defense Video, and it was just a picture of a guy running away from a camera. And that's all the video was 30 seconds of a guy just running away. But, none of them like it. And he said, well, and he went with the some deals better than none approach, in a way. And not exactly, because his problem with it is he doesn't think the deal is great. And we know Liberal Jake. He doesn't think the deal is great, and he doesn't think that the administration's answering the questions that it needs to be answering. And I give him huge props on that. Mm-hmm. And we made some jokes, but one of the jokes I made is, all right, let's say the whole family goes to the car buying shop. Mm-hmm. And this whole, we have to take something instead of nothing. And all of us agree that the Pontiac Aztek sucks. Mm-hmm. And none of us want it. But then we walk in, find a salesman, sit down, and buy the car anyhow. That's what this is. This is the Pontiac Aztek of treaties.
When you not only have Israel saying this is no good, but Egypt and Jordan saying this is no good, these are our allies in the Middle East. And they're not very happy with us.
Not at all. And never mind Israel.
And Assad loves the deal.
Weird, right? Probably because he's going to benefit from this some way.
Right.
And I
you know Assad, the leader of Syria, and the Hezbollah terrorists in Lebanon.
Right.
Yeah,
he gassed
that guy.
Everybody. Bashar Assad. He was gassing him. And I sent out a tweet the other night, and I swear to God, this is one of those things. I said timing is everything in life, right? And it's one of those things. I was sitting on the couch, and earlier in the day, I was thinking to myself, all right, we're going to give all this money to Iran. Iran is the biggest state supporter of terror in the world.
Well, he just came out. The supreme leader came out and said, "Death to America and death to Israel."
Right.
And John Kerry was if this is he says in the Saudi TV interview, if this is a policy, it's very disturbing, very troubling. Hey, jackass!
It's not a new policy.
It's not a new policy.
They didn't just vote on this,
right?
In the Mullah committee,
right?
This has been their policy since 1977, 76. When did they overthrow the Shah? 78. This isn't a new policy, a-hole.
No. Why are you so stunned by it?
Which he followed up with fire bad. But we're going to give them all this money. They're the largest state supporter of terror. Doesn't that all of a sudden make us, by proxy, the largest state supporter of terror? And I had that idea a couple days ago in the middle of the afternoon, and it took me forever to phrase it so it came out exactly how I wanted it to sound. No kidding. I sent it out and found out 20 minutes earlier Ted Cruz was on Twitter and said the exact was on Hannity and said the exact same thing. I was so angry. That was my one moment, and I was uprooted by that damn Ted Cruz.
Yep.
But it's true. It's very true. The money we give them, we know they're going to use. The administration themselves have admitted it's going to go to arms and armament and weapons. They give those to Hezbollah and Hamas, who use them against our ally Israel. So we are, by proxy, funding the attack on Israel.
Yes, and then ourselves.
And ourselves, too. Well,
eventually, death to America, death to Israel.
Look at all the money we're giving them. We could have just bought them off.
Well, look, it's going to get killed in the House and the Senate,
and then he'll veto it.
And then he'll veto it, but then it goes back, and then they're going to need the 2/3. And I don't look. They may be able to override this veto. There are plenty of Democrats that are not happy with this deal.
No. There's a lot of people who are angry at this deal, and it's sad how blind, or deaf, I should say, the administration is to what even a lot of lefties are coming out and they're like, this is no friggin' good.
Right.
And the fact that you brought it to the UN before you brought it to us, now it's no good and you pissed us off a little bit.
Right.
Because now you've just...
Finally.
Right. I can't believe that it took... I'm glad in a way it happened, but, it still sucks that it has to take this to wake Congress the hell up to take action.
Or at least to galvanize Congress.
Right.
This may be one of the first bipartisan things they're able to do.
Imagine that. Oh, by the way, a little bit of bragging rights. We are now ranked number 2 on Live 365 for political talk stations.
We're ranked number 1 in my book.
Number 1.
Right here. Here's my book. Let me open it up for you. Right there, number 1. It's written in pencil.
All 3 of our genres, which are comedy, which are politics, news, and education, we are on the top 10 on all 3 genres on Live 365. So I appreciate...
Live 365 does not have a big following. No, I'm kidding.
I appreciate everyone who's been listening and partaking. But I just had to brag about that just a wee bit because it's...
And thank our supporters.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank our supporters. And thank all of the
Give us money.
Give us cash. Honestly, all the great hosts who've come on board with us. We have 29 shows now on the SHR Media Network. And I really, really appreciate all you guys who have been partnering with us. And this is just working out well. So, Iran, go to hell. Congress, get off your ass and do something. Sackheads going for the top. That's pretty much the whole point of this segment, baby.
Clint for president 2016.
Clint for president 2016. You're right. I cannot wait. I'm sorry. The number 2 newsman in the business. 36 shows have signed on with SHR Media. 36 shows. It's pretty damn impressive.
Yeah, at least we know our own stats. Good job.
Listen.
No, you listen.
No, I don't even want to talk to you about our stats. You don't even know what a stat is. That's the best part about all this.
That's not true.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, what's a stat?
32.
I can't argue that.
Thank you.
You just proved my point, and I can't argue all at the same time. Absolutely amazing.
Our show is 2 hours long. That's a stat.
Let's see. There's some other stats going to the chat room. Jersey Joe put out 38 triple D.
What's that?
That's a stat.
It is a stat.
I want to say it was a type of battery, right? You had D cells and then 38 triple for there's 38 in a row and then 3 on regular side, so that's good.
No, but that's for home use. Never mind.
No, that's the air compressor, I think. The electric generator one that you have. So I don't remember exactly. Let's see. Dan Butcher said 0 beers in the fridge is a stat. Absolutely is a stat as well. Matt in the chat room said bros before shows. I don't know where I'm going with that one yet, but we'll hug it out later.
I don't know if that's a stat. I think that's a lar.
That is a lar.
Definitely not a stat.
Oh man, I don't even know if I can repeat this one.
Do it.
And I want to know why Jersey Joe knows what it's called. The one that has the generator is actually called. It's called the Home Wrecker, and I don't know why he knows that. I'm a little.
I thought it was called the Sibian.
No, that's the girl that works at Starbucks.
Wasn't that the one in Moonlighting, Sibian Shepherd? Sybil Shepherd. Sybil Shepherd, sorry.
Oh, man. So earlier I did mention that I wanted to play Agado's commercial, and I was finally able to find it, and I'm going to play it now without any further ado.
Times are dark. The people are misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation looking for direction needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, 100 Press Radio, and YouTube through the SHR Media page for a different kind of commentary on the unpleasant blind guy. Because the truth is not always pleasant.
That's a great commercial.
Isn't that awesome?
Do you think he could see what he was doing with that commercial?
I think he can, actually. I think he saw exactly where he wanted to go.
Which is hard to do.
I love when I first listened to that, and as soon as he got to they need a guy with the cane, I almost fell out of my chair. And it's true, right? We are completely blind in this country to what's important, and a guy with a cane could very well lead us out of it. So the metaphor actually is absolutely brilliant, hands down, in the comedy aspect of it as well. Oh man, where's Sacco? Listen, we do 25 minutes of insults for Sacco a show.
He's got 9 minutes and 6 seconds.
He's never going to make it. He's never going to make it. You know what?
We need to take odds of Sacco showing up in the next 8 minutes and 55 seconds.
We're going to call Sacco on the air.
Okay.
And find out exactly what happened tonight. Because I'm aggravated. All right? This isn't like him to just bag out on us. And I want to know...
And we don't have him locked in a cage this time.
No, this is because you people keep... Oh, sorry.
Not you, Ken.
You people keep complaining about his freedom, so we give him
and this is what happens.
Right. He just runs all willy-nilly with it.
This is why these people, and what I mean is sectarians, that cannot have freedom.
Right. You know, when we talk about people who have a tendency to have too much freedom and we have that and not use it responsibly, this is one of those situations. So, it's insulting. Let's see if we...
Call him.
It's ringing.
Hey, you reached my cell. Sorry I'm away from my phone, but if you leave me a message...
That's not Sacco.
Who did you
call?
Your
mailbox is full and cannot accept any messages.
I don't know, but apparently her mailbox is full. That's Sacco's number. I swear to God it is.
Sacco changed his number on us?
He didn't tell us?
I think Sacco's on the lamb.
Well, right. Wait a minute.
Or in the sheep.
Well, Armenian and all.
Sectarian.
He's sectarian. I'm pretty sure I got his number right. Let's try this again. 6.
Oh, yeah, good. Say it out on the air for everybody.
There's a 6 in it. You figure the rest out. Here we go. Let's call Sacco.
867-5309?
Yeah. No, I think... Wasn't that Jenny's number? I don't remember. Here we go.
I'd love it if it's some random person that answers. We should just start doing random calls as a segment.
That would be amazing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Sacco, answer the phone. Oh.
Thanks for contacting Sacco.
Oh, no.
No, let's leave him a message.
Let's leave him a message.
Hang on. You may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey, Sacco, this is Clint, Sackhead's radio show. You're on the air live. We're just calling to see how you're doing.
With the message,
Whoa! I bet he programmed that as soon as it was one of our voices.
Record, press 3. To continue recording where you left off, press 4.
There's no any key. It doesn't tell me. Oh, wait. I got it. We're going to hit 4 and keep going.
If you're satisfied with the message at the tone, please continue recording. At the end of your message, press 1.
Sacco, very clever of you to have the lady cut us off as soon as you hear it was either me or Sean's voice.
We didn't get your message either because you...
Oh! You see this?
To disconnect, press 1. To record your message, press 2.
Oh. Can I take this one?
Yeah, please.
At the end of your message, press 1.
A-hole, you missed the show.
If you're satisfied with the
That's
message,
a good message.
press 1. To listen to your message, press thank you. Your message has been sent.
Perfect.
That was worth every... Who else we can... And by the way, Matt, I did do that for you because Matt said call him an a-hole, so I wanted to make sure I got that out of the way. Who else do you want to call?
Let's call the White House.
Let's call the White House press line. Hold on, I'll work on that number. You talk to our fine listeners.
If anybody has any ideas of who else we can call, please go into the chat room now and give us some ideas.
White House phone number. I should have this on speed dial.
You should. How come you don't?
Oh, it's 202-456-1111.
Perfect.
It's a public number. Let's dial that bad boy.
Dial it up. Let's ask to speak with Barack.
Barry. Isn't it Barry?
Barry.
No, Barry. I think it's Barry. Hold on a second. I don't want to call Sacco back. I don't know why. I'm really let down by Sacco this week. I'm not going to lie.
We have 4 minutes and 14 seconds.
We may go over if somebody answers the phone. I'm not going to hold back on this. 202. We're calling the White House in the middle of our show. Whoa, this is so awesome. We're going to start doing this as a regular segment.
You have reached a non-working number.
Wait. What? What's he saying? The president doesn't work?
I bet that's what it's saying.
202. I dialed it right. It's a non... Did we not pay our bill to China? Why the hell isn't our phone working? Hold on.
I don't know.
Thank you for calling the White House comment line. The office is now closed. Your comment is very important to the president, so please call again between the hours of 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Message.
Monday through Friday.
Operator.
Our direct telephone number is 202-456-1111. Again, that's 202-456-1111.
Is the president there? This woman doesn't listen.
Information about the White House,
I'm asking questions. She's just talking over me.
www.whitehouse.gov.
Safe search on.
And to share your thoughts, click on the words Contact Us on the upper right-hand corner.
Oh!
Of the page. For government information by topic, please visit www.usa.gov.
This is horrible.
Thank you again.
Now, we could do better than that. Don't you agree? We as a nation can do better than that that little recording, right? You could have the national anthem playing.
Right.
You could have a kick-ass version of the national anthem playing.
Right.
You could have maybe like a nice soft voice or like even like a somebody kick-ass. Hey, thanks for calling the White House.
That'd be Biden.
Dude, have Biden read that.
Right.
Right? Can you imagine it? It set off and Beep. What is this shit? Voicemail? What the hell's a voicemail? Hey, Joe Biden here. Hey, yeah, listen, we're all kind of busy, and, I got that train set today I've been working with. Barry's out in the backyard smoking a butt, so he can't get to the phone. And Michelle, she's on vacation. So listen, here's what you're going to do. You're going to go to the interwebs if you want to get on our website. And that website is whitehouse.gov. That's brilliant. That'll bring us right here. No, will they actually just come right to us? What's the internet? That'll never work. So go to whitehouse.gov. And if you want to leave another message and find out about other companies or what's that Pornhub thing? That's how this works. It's same thing, right? So if you want to see a video of me in the nude, go to www.whitehouse.gov. You said it was the same thing. Whatever. Leave a message. That would have been more.
That would have been perfect. I dare Joe Biden to do the White House voicemail system line.
Let's start
off the cuff.
Let's start a petition for that on whitehouse.gov. They have all those petitions. Let's start that one.
Yeah, press 1 if what you got to say is a big freaking deal. Press 2 if you're a biker chick with big hooters. Press 3 if you want to see a picture of my Johnson.
Yeah. If you want to call me direct, the phone number is 696-6969. That's the VP love line right there. It's going to be a 976 number, and it may cost you a couple bucks.
You want to see a picture of me and Bill Clinton in Vegas? Press 6.
Folks, I am back tomorrow on the Edge of Liberty, 1360 AM WNJC in Philadelphia, at 12 in the East, 9 in the West. We are, of course, back next Wednesday at 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific. Sorry about that. And check out all the great shows here on the SHR Media Network. Our updated schedules on shrmedia.com, as well as host bios. If you need anything at all, you email Sacco at SHR Media.
Email Sacco.
SHR Media.
Or whitehouse.gov.
Or whitehouse.gov. VP at whitehouse.gov. That's it for us. We'll talk to you next week.
The best late-night conservative talk show in America, Sackheads Radio. And listen, there are no people better on the air to give you the best in conservative talk than Sackhead Sean and Sackhead Clint. And we're working on immigration papers for a certain other guy who happens to work here, too. For those who are tuning in around the world to the best in late-night conservative talk, Sackheads Radio. The best late-night conservative talk show in America. In America.
And in this web was a large, I'm pretty sure it was the biggest spider I've ever seen.